Hello, everybody, and this is the October version of the SNews, the Zombies Are Us version. We're going to be talking about Fear the Walking Dead and some other stuff. But right off the bat, let me introduce my co-host, Mr. Dylan Lang.
Hello. Hola to you, Amy.
Hola. Hello.
And hello to you, Mr. Mike. How you guys doing today?
Hello, sir.
Doing good, huh? Weekend's almost here, huh? Excited?
I mean, it's going to be just like every other weekend, just lots of hard drugs, excessive drinking, church Sunday morning.
That sounds like
Lucky.
that sounds like a Donald Trump weekend. Just saying.
I think you mean to say President Trump.
Could happen.
So, what's going on, Tony?
Nothing much. We're going to talk about Amy's baby. We threw it out there to have people suggest baby names for her, and then we're going to.
She's contractually obligated to use the baby name that's chosen on this show, right?
If she uses it, she's got to send somebody cheese. I think that's what it is.
I gotta send them what?
Cheese. Well, Scott McDonald said cheese. I said you were going to send them a prize if you used one of the names that were submitted. So you're obligated to send us a prize, and Scott wants it to be cheese. So
Cheese is good. I love cheese.
Get a Neufchâtel.
Yeah.
Just fun to say. Neufchâtel.
After we do that, we're going to get into Fear the Walking Dead. We're going to talk about that amazing first season, those 6 episodes.
It's going to be more like Fear the Tony Solo. It's more like what it's going to be.
Yeah. Anyway, but as usual, we usually start the show off with birthdays. So I'll hand that off to Dylan because that's his job.
Happy birthday to the following Snark Alex, starting October 12th, which is, what, next Monday, or this upcoming Monday. Holly Halls, happy birthday, Halls. Holly Wilson's birthday is October 12th, so everybody do a shot of, what's that liquor she drinks? Captain? Not Captain.
Crown.
Royal Crown.
Crown, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone do a shot of Crown for Holly on her birthday, October 12th. Next up, we got actually a couple of twofers coming up. October 20th, we've got our friend Geek Aaron, and also Janine is all her birthday. So both Aaron and Janine share a birthday on October 20th, so that's pretty cool. And then we jump to the 24th. We have 2 more Snark Alex have a birthday on the same day. The 24th is Janica's, Pinky Guerrero's birthday, and our friend and frequent host on the late lamented, not host, guest on the late lamented Snark Alec Radio, Allison Victoria. Her birthday is coming up on the 24th. Isn't she having a baby too?
Yes, she is. Actually, she posted a picture earlier today of her and her hubby with her big baby bump.
Now, do we know if she has a baby name chosen? Because I feel like we could start a mini cottage industry here.
Well, we have to see how this one goes. I mean,
Yeah, I'll give you guys.
we have to test market on Amy.
So you're our crash test baby? That's what's happening
Pretty
here?
much. Yeah.
Nice.
So you just put that on your resume too, or the baby's resume.
October 25th, we've got our good friend John McGevna's birthday. So happy birthday to John on the 25th. October 26th is he was my friend first and became a Snark Alec. Eric A. Now we went to college together, and now he's a chef, wannabe chef at home. His birthday is October 26th, and then we jump into November. And we've got, November 5th, we got Parker Lewis himself, who is a Snark Alec. Corin Nemec, his birthday is November 5th. And we end up November 9th with the interesting Lisa Marie Bowman. So Lisa's birthday is November 9th. So after that, that is all the birthdays we have until next month's news. Back to you, Tony.
Okay. So earlier today, well, actually, it started last night. A whole bunch of people were throwing out baby names at Amy because she announced that it was confirmed that she's going to be having a boy in March, at the beginning of March. So people were just throwing names out, and some of them were funny. I think, you know, um, if you don't pick hemorrhoid, I could understand because it is a pain in the ass to spell, but there was a lot of good. Yeah, I know, Mike. Shake your head.
I still like ceiling fanning. I like that one.
Yeah, oh
Ceiling
yeah,
fanning.
that was one of my
Well,
favorites.
I like that. I like that because you had to realize because I threw out Peyton Fanning, and
Which is a good one too. And Eli.
but someone already had mentioned that, so I said, okay, make it Eli. You know, the lesser Fanning brother. But that didn't work. Then I realized, you want to know something? We're wasting all of these good tweets and stuff. We're never going to be able to get them back. So I put it up on the website, and we've gotten 35 or 34 responses
Just today.
just today. So it there was an overwhelming response. And you want to know something? If you have an idea and you want to still put it up there before we get done with the list, we'll see it. So you can go ahead, and there is no limit. You can submit as many baby names as you want. But the thing is, we don't want you to read these. We want to read them to you so we can get your reaction to the names.
You don't want me to read them?
Well,
You guys
could
want
read
to
it long. You could read
Okay, okay.
them. But Dylan, do you want to start at the top?
Absolutely. Hold on a second. All right. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm good. Here we go. All right, let me get this expanded here. Come on.
Are you reading it off the phone, man?
Yeah, I don't have
can
a second.
screw you up because if I move this, it will move on your phone, I think.
Well, don't move it.
It will. Yeah, you just have to zoom out.
Okay, here we go.
I have a picture, by the way, guys. I have a picture of them. If y'all
Let's
want
see
to
the picture.
real
There
quick.
we go. Let's see the picture first.
See it? Y'all see?
You know what? He looks like a Sharknado to me.
You have to
Well,
keep on
it-
talking, though.
That's the name.
Wow, we just
Okay,
we just saw her naughty bits. Why did she show us a picture of the inside of her naughty bits?
I said you guys it was a boy. It was 3 legs. It's definitely a boy.
All right, well, the first one is from not at Amy Glitters. And it is, all right, Kelly. Hi, Kelly. Just get your Twitter off of me now. I think Amy should name her baby Morgan, but her baby's daddy is being a dick about it. He says it's a girl's name. No, it's not a girl's name. Hello, Morgan. Our last guy, we're going to learn a lot more about this season on Walking Dead, and Morgan Edge from Superman comics. Come on, Morgan. Good name.
That person knows a lot about me. I wonder who that is.
Mike, you want to read the next one because I can't.
I actually don't have it in front of me.
Oh man, what are you doing, man?
I was so
Mike.
deep in preparation.
Mike, it's Carl. Go ahead and say it.
Okay, let me see here. Let me open up the list. All right, scrolling. Carl.
Okay, I submitted that one.
All
next-
rhymed.
The next submission, less than a minute later, was Carl from Midgie Girl. But she had a reason for picking Carl, and her reason was she wants to hear Amy yelling, "Where's Carl?" for the first 10 years of his life.
And you've got that southern drawl.
Oh, God.
It'll be like Andrew Lincoln. Where's Coral?
Where's Coral? Well, I was actually gonna be Lori Grimes for Halloween, and since I have a little baby bump, and I was just gonna go around asking everybody if they've seen Carl. That's all I was gonna say the whole night. Have you guys seen Carl? Has anybody seen Carl? Do you know where
Put a white
Carl
dress
is?
on. You put a white dress on, and
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah, white dress and be Lori. That works. Okay, so
I
since
hate
Mike
her, by the way.
since Mike doesn't have it opened in front of him, do you have it printed out or no? You're looking at it live, aren't you, Amy?
I am.
Okay, so you could read the next one.
Okay, the next one. If I can pronounce this. All right. Baron Hotchness von Hugelstein from Dawn.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, there's something wrong with my wife. Yes.
I actually do like Baron. Is that the third kid that y'all never had? So that's the name you're going to use?
I honestly don't know where the hell that came from. Oh, nice. Dawn. She's got another one. Should I do the next one, Tony?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Philip Edward Fegaro, before she found out that it's actually going to be, Fanning, but Philip Edward Fegaro Fanning, or PE for short.
Okay.
It'll still be the same. I actually kind of like that.
So the baby's last name is Fanning, so Sharknado doesn't work as a name anymore. Like Sharknado Figaro, that worked. That just had a ring to it.
I might can hyphenate it. It's 2015. We can do Fegaro Fanning.
Well, no, technically Dawn's name, her business name is hyphenated also. She's Feeks Lang, so whatever.
This one would not work. Luchador Eichhorst Fanning. I don't know if we have to say the last name.
You know what, though? Luchador is a great name.
Luchador is a great name. But Eichhorst probably by itself would have been another decent name.
I feel like Eichhorst is the name of some Nazi war criminal.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, he's very Hitler.
Well,
you don't want that, but Luchador is awesome.
Eichhorst is the character from the Strain, rather.
Oh, well, there you go.
So that's where Eichhorst comes from. The Luchador, did she get that from Angel because he's a Luchador?
Yeah, I think she got that from Angel also. Yeah, also from the Strain, which I guess doesn't make sense if you aren't watching the Strain. So
what do you think about the next one?
It's Amy's turn, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Amy.
I can read it. Okay, Ripley Hicks.
Oh, T. Scott.
Yeah, he's
that's
definitely.
That's not too bad.
Was he? But you see, the thing is, because of the Southern drawl, everybody knows. Yeah. Definitely alien flavored to that one. Now you see, the next one I think is the best one you're ever going to get.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, let Amy read it. Go ahead.
Okay, Webster. After Gerald Webb. That was from Tony.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You can stop reading now. That's the winner. Where's my cheese?
I'll write it down.
I don't know, Tony. Luchador is pretty good.
Come on.
I'm still kind of falling back on that one. You need to cut out the Nazi middle name. Sorry, Kelly. But Lucha Libre is the sport of kings.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, God.
Well, let's just keep moving on down the line.
Yeah. So next one is Spencer from Nola Mom. And it's funny because you had Webster and then Spencer. It was like, that would be a great middle name. So Webster Spencer Fanning. Could you imagine he's a wide receiver for the New York Jets?
Webster Spencer Fanning.
Well, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm trying to think if you were a football player, if you played for Alabama, the name that I'd want them to announce. So
and just hear me out on this. Imagine how cute a baby's gonna look with a luchador mask on.
Yeah.
Easy to dress him up for Halloween.
I mean, unfortunately, you can't ever take it off, but.
Because then people would know who he was. But you see, the funny thing about that is they don't know your real identity, but you walk around with that mask, and it's always the same mask, so they know who you are every time.
It's the same person, yeah.
Right.
I'll think about it. Top 5, in my top 5.
The next one from Scott McDonald is Murphy. And I just, why did it take so long for someone to come up with Murphy?
That's what I was thinking myself. That was one of the first names that I picked out, actually. And Pat, the baby's father, he was like, like some V Nation. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it was Scott. I thought Kelly might have done that one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm surprised Scott didn't say Scott.
Well,
That's
actually,
pretty
he
fair.
said that last night, though.
he
didn't
did
Yeah,
put it.
he
He did
did.
put it last night. Yeah. I wanted to do the next one. I'd love the next one because
Oh.
I miss Littlefoot. Littlefoot Fanning.
Oh,
That's
that's
from
cute.
that's from our friend Bigfoot. I haven't heard from him in a
Yeah.
while.
Oh, Sasquatch.
I miss
Yeah.
Littlefoot.
Little foot fan.
Yeah, Little Feets is gone. He's gone. He's never coming back, Little Feets.
Okay, this
Okay.
next one.
You go for it, Amy. I love it.
Okay. All right. Buster Keaton Fegaro from Leo McAllister. That name, Keaton, was one that the father mentioned, and I'm like, hell no, because with our southern drawl, Keaton, I was like, that sounds so redneck. Sorry, Leo, but that's not happening.
And technically, you could say Buster does too. You know.
Yeah, well, I have a dog named Buster, so, yeah.
We named the dog Buster. That's what we should have had. You should have Indiana Fanning.
I
Okay,
like
so-
Indiana.
So I think the next 5 are all from Passaico. So I think, is the first one pronounced Ray?
Yeah.
I think so, or Ray.
I'm
And
going to
that's
say
that
Ray.
girl. You know the band, one of the bands that he follows, one of those like
Mhm.
Korean pop
The-
or whatever it is.
Yeah, K-pop.
That's one of the girls. Yeah, yeah, that's
Or-
one of the girls.
K-pop or J-pop.
Boys. I don't know if it's a girl
So,
or boys. One of them.
He's also unfortunately got Sharknado and Sharknado Fanning, which does have a ring to it, though.
Not
But-
as much as Sharknado Figaro does.
Yeah.
Sharknado Figaro, that's a real name.
Yeah.
You could name your baby that, and people would just accept it.
It would be a wrestler. That's like a wrestler name.
So we're back to the luchador, huh?
Yeah, I mean, looks like it.
Looks like Webster's slipping back now. That's not good. So then we've also got Passaico, Peanut Butter Jelly,
Oh,
and Big Ass Spider Baby.
big ass spider baby.
Holly's got
Butter
Holly's
jelly.
peanut butter jelly Fanning. Holly's got some interesting ones. And Nara Fanning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That does
Is
have a
that-
ring to it.
Is that a boy name though? Or is
It's
that a boy
actually a
name?
girl name, though.
Yeah.
But you know what? Nowadays, everybody's names can be boys or girls now. I mean, Dylan, come on, has started to be taken over by girls now, which is pissing me off. But
I do know a girl. I know a girl.
You have to
Dylan.
accept gender fluidity.
yeah, and then of course there's Kelly. Also.
That's just a girl's
That's a girl's
We
name.
all
That's
know that.
definitely a girl's name.
Yeah, that's a woman's name.
Yeah, we all know that.
This one's not too bad. Cage.
Cage.
There you go. There's your Alabama football player, Cage Fanning. There you go. Cage Fanning, quarterback for Alabama.
And he's the only football player who wears a luchador
And-
mask.
And his nickname could be Steel, so he'd be Steel
Oh,
Cage
God.
Manning.
Steel Cage.
I like
Okay.
that. Riley.
Badass. Riley.
Now, Riley can go either way. That's actually my daughter's middle name.
Yeah, I do know a girl Riley. I do know a guy Riley, and he's a dick. So
I don't want to
thank
name
you,
him that.
Wally. Yeah.
And
So,
then one,
so that's going to cloud that one.
and then one
Yeah,
more
that
boy
one- that
girlish
one.
one. Casey.
Mm-hmm. Casey Fanning.
Casey could be a good name or it could be a bad name.
Bad name. It sounds pretty basic. Sounds kind of blah.
Casey Fanning.
Yeah, I don't like it. It sounds like a farmer.
I do like Cage though.
Yeah,
Cage is
Cage Fanning, quarterback for Alabama.
Steel Cage drops back in the pocket. 30-yard
Wait
run.
20 years.
Uh,
Let's see. The next one. Okay, the next one's on here twice.
yeah, that may have been a phone burp, possibly.
Coltrane Fanning.
Whenever I hear Coltrane, I think of Roscoe P. Coltrane from the Dukes of
Yeah.
Hazzard.
Maybe that's why she's
nobody
good
put a
at
Roscoe up there. I don't know.
Yeah, they did.
Crispin.
Okay. There's one up there.
Crispin
Crispin.
Fanning.
I know a girl named Crispin. Huckleberry.
I'm not a
She's
fan
just
of that
getting-
one.
She's
Not a
just getting
fan.
really southern.
Has anybody put Donald on there in honor of the future president?
Oh,
No, not on here.
I don't want to I don't want to curse my baby's future hair. So that's not.
I'm gonna let you take these, Tony, because they're it's your girl.
All right.
Next two, yes.
I only see one showing up. I've got LeCloud.
Okay.
Myrna. Yeah, LeCloud.
Okay.
Is that
Yeah.
it? LeCloud?
Yeah, LeCloud. It popped up twice, but do you see the one after that?
I don't. No, I don't see it.
That is awesome.
What's
Okay.
the next one?
The next one is Pizarro. So it's pizza with an R O and Pizarro.
Which would be good if you had with Fegaro, Pizarro, Fegaro.
Fegaro. Now that's beating out the other one. What's the one that's the top of the list?
Cage.
Cage.
Cage. The other one. The L
luchador?
one.
Oh, the
Well,
luchador. Oh,
Webster.
Mike's favorite.
Webster.
telling you. There will seldom be a day when I have a child that he does not have a luchador mask on. Or he or she, does not have a luchador mask on.
Maybe I should just go like Latin. You know, they have like 17 names.
There you go.
Yeah, like 10 middle names. 2
Luchador,
last names.
Webster, Murphy, Littlefoot, Sharknado, Pacifico, Big Ass Spider Baby, Cage, Fanning.
We do have a mention from Melinda Silken Soul saying, "Cage the rage and blow up the page." Or blow up the gauge. I'm sorry. It's very small. It's a very small computer. It's kind of small.
Got a few more left on the list. How about Bender?
Bender,
Fanning.
like from
Yeah,
from,
Futurama. Yeah.
Futurama. Who put that one in?
That was from Laura also.
Laura.
Laura
My
Norman.
baby's gonna be a thief if I name it Bender. stealing shit from the hospital on the day of Bender.
Actually, the next name is going to be the thief name. And Mike, the next name is Ragamuffin, okay?
What?
So how about I read the next one, guys?
Go ahead, Mike.
Let me just
Right.
scroll down here. I think I fell a couple behind. Let me see. How about Ragamuffin?
What do you think about Ragamuffin? Does it stack up there with Luchador Mike?
No, you know what? I can't see Ragamuffin with a luchador mask on. And as we've already established, Lucha Libre is the sport of kings.
Yeah, you know, that the last bit of muffin, you know, just doesn't seem luchador-esque.
No.
Muffin.
Yeah, maybe that muffin part there makes it a little bit too feminine.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Thank you,
That
Dave.
was from
Who wrote that in?
That was Pacifico.
Okay. Hey, they're showing up now. I see them now.
Yeah, you may have had to do a refresh.
I did. Yeah. Tornado. The next one is Tornado. Tornado Fanning. Tornado Fegaro would be good. That was from Myrna. Another one from her. All these like natural disasters and like pimp sounding names and like redneck names.
Listen, if you have a redneck pimp as a son, you should be proud of that.
His name should just be Redneck Pimp then.
And you know what? Somebody named Redneck Pimp can wear a luchador mask. Redneck Pimp can pull off the luchador mask in any situation.
Oh my god.
So,
Got two more left here.
The
well,
next
there's
one.
actually three.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, 3.
It is a late entry.
Okay. Who wants to read that one? I'll
The
read it.
next one is Dash. and that's also from Myrna. Dash Fanning.
Dash Fanning.
At least it's not Dakota.
That's different. Yeah, it's different.
Dakota
It
Fanning.
sounds like a superhero.
Yeah. I like the last one though. Or the
Well,
last
hold
one
on.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can if I can scroll the list for Mike in the chat window. Maybe Mike could read the last one.
Let's see. We might have a winner. I'm going to be honest with you. Vladimir Drago Fanning, a.k.a. Spanky. I don't know about Spanky, but Vladimir Fanning? It's a good name.
That
That could work.
Not only could that name work, again, totally works with the mask.
And that was from your side piece's husband, John McGivney.
Thank you, side piece's husband.
Side piece's husband. So what does that make him?
The other man?
The other man. The other man.
Or wait, I would be the other man.
Yeah.
The first other man? I don't know. We're getting into weird. Like, after how many other mans can you marry? It's sort of like marrying cousins. Isn't it like second cousin on you're allowed to marry?
Yeah, something like that. It doesn't make a difference. It all depends. I think down south it's like required that you marry a cousin. Except where Amy lives.
No, there is a law here. I think you can't marry your first cousin, but it's okay to marry your second cousin. I might be
so
making that up.
they actually had to put a law in place for that. You know,
That makes sense.
Hey,
You know,
so at least you know where to draw the line.
You're at a family reunion, you've had a few drinks. Sometimes you need a guide.
Is that what your family tells you, Mike? Is that what
I'm just saying, we've all been in this situation.
your cousin?
Family reunion, couple of drinks. You need somebody to be your guide. And luckily the government stepped in and was like, hey, second cousin on, hit the broom closet.
I've literally never been in that situation, ever. Like, I think you're just speaking for yourself.
So that was fun.
It was. Thank you guys for all your input. They were all
So,
pretty horrible.
was there? Are you gonna pick one?
I did. I like Murphy, and that person, the first person that wrote in, that's not me, Morgan. I like that one.
You like Morgan and Murphy, so you like Emily.
How about Morgan Murphy Fanning?
Morgan Murphy Fanning.
There
were a few others that that some people put on Twitter that didn't get put in the sheet before Tony did this, like Fox, or somebody said Mulder. It was one of the Scots do Mulder, and Fox was one of the first names I had chosen, but they're like, no, Fox Fanning. That's just
Fox Fanning.
No, yeah, they're like, no, we're not doing it. It sounds like a porn star if you think about it, Fox Fanning.
It could, but at the same time, again, Alabama quarterback, Fox Fanning.
Yeah, Fox Fanning.
There you go.
I do like the one that Dawn put, the really long one. Barron. I had thought about Barron for like a middle name, like the Birmingham Barons.
Barron.
And then Luchador. That's different.
Obviously.
So it sounds like Cage is out. It sounds like the best one, Webster is out.
Because I just think of Webster, what's his name, the little guy?
Emmanuel Lewis.
Emmanuel
Lewis.
Lewis.
Yeah, Emmanuel. I just think
A
of
show
him.
called Webster.
Emmanuel Fanning.
Emmanuel Fanning.
Emmanuel Fanning. It does have a ring. It does have a ring.
See the other one.
I feel like this is probably how all babies should be named.
Yeah, it's a pretty good idea.
By
We can all of them together.
Yeah, Twitter poll.
By people not at all related to the baby, telling the mother, this is how you're going to name your baby.
So it's 9:30, and I just saw a tweet from Erna that says, oh my gosh, today is snooze. Wait, slow down. I have to listen. Oh, well, Erna. only been tweeting about it for about a
Hi,
week.
Myrna.
Only been-
This is Dylan in the snooze. Oh wait, that's not the slow she wants. Okay.
yeah. Well, everybody knows that she has slow attention span, so.
She confuses herself way too much. Love
So,
her though.
if you're watching on G Plus, there is something called a showcase, and what that does is we're going to be talking about some stuff that I grabbed off of websites, and basically I put those links into the showcase. So if you ever go back and watch the show, you're going to be able to see the links. If you're watching it on G Plus, I don't know about YouTube, but the links will also pop up in the video eventually. So we're going to be talking about, should I slow down for Myrna? We're going to talk about Fear the Walking Dead. It was a show that was very much anticipated by all of us Walking Dead fans for a whole bunch of reasons. Because The Walking Dead is such a great show. And we thought we were going to learn a little bit more about what was going on. But one of the things that I am going to actually read, I'm going to throw this into the chat window so people don't have to go looking for it, but I have a quote from Kirkman. And so this is actually a quote from Kirkman. If you think about the way a zombie outbreak would happen, it would happen very organically. It would be happening for a while behind the scenes, which I pretty much agree with. In pockets of civilization, in pockets of civilization, there would be news stories that didn't really make sense and didn't seem connected, and that's kind of where we pick things up. There are a lot of things on the news. There's a lot of chatter and paranoia and concern, and yet the vast majority of the population is ignoring these things and talking about their daily lives, and that's kind of where we pick things up, and things ramp up very quickly from there. So that's a direct quote from Kirkman. He also said that he wasn't going to divulge what the origin of the outbreak was in this show because he hasn't divulged it yet in what we'll probably call the big show, the original Walking Dead. So, having read that, the first episode, which they call the pilot, always, which is where we get introduced to the cast. What did you guys think of that episode? That's the episode where Nick wakes up in the church and Gloria is having a feast.
Who wants to go
And
first?
I'll that's fine. I'll do it. The pilot to me started off pretty interesting with the fact that sort of similar to what Rick Grimes went through, where he wakes up, after the initial, prologue sequence where he gets shot, he wakes up and doesn't know what the hell's going on. Sort of same thing happened with Nick, but he was in a drug-induced haze, and he wakes up, and the girl he was with is no longer there, and he starts walking around this deserted church, and then starts seeing all kinds of gruesome things, and then sees the woman, chowing down on some dude, and then runs the hell out of there and gets hit by a car. And from that point on, to me, the pilot was just, I guess my anticipation of it was just so astronomical that I was like, okay, once it was over, I was like, that's it. It was the characters, I didn't like any of them. The story seemed to just not really go, fast enough, go that I'm used to with Walking Dead. And in the end, thinking back about it, I understand why they did it that way. It was the whole slow build-up thing, and that was the thing they wanted to do. But it was just, for a pilot, what you want to do is you kind of want to grab people's attention. And that one scene they did at the beginning, it grabs their attention, but you got to keep it and have certain grabbing points in the rest of the show. And they really didn't have that till closer to the end, when we find out that Calvin is his clean-cut best friend is his actual drug dealer also, and they end up having a confrontation in the end, and then he gets shot and then turned into the zombie, the first zombie that the main character has actually seen, with the exception of Nick, who saw his girlfriend as a zombie. So to me, at the time, it just seemed like it was just so plodding and slow, and the characters were awful and terrible, and it wasn't, it didn't grab me, so I was kind of disappointed with the pilot. But then as I started thinking about it a little more, it's like, okay, yeah, it's a gradual build-up. I get what they're doing, but still, you got to make it a little interesting here and there. It's a TV show.
Okay, Mike?
Well, first off, I think I can speak for all of us when I say that we've all woken up in a slightly inebriated haze to find out that we spent the night with a woman who looks like a flesh-eating creature. So I can relate to the whole opening sequence like that. And unlike Dylan, though, the opening sequence where he wakes up in the church and runs out in the city and stuff, I really liked that. And that really grabbed me, and I was like, this show's going to be great. And then I kept watching, and it just went progressively downhill for me.
Oh, I liked it too, and that was my same general idea too. Is that I thought, okay, if we get more moments like that, then we're good. But then, as you just said, we didn't.
Right. Then they introduced the characters, and just like, man, when does Walking Dead start?
So, Amy, your take.
Okay, pretty much ditto, the same thing. I think my expectations were way too high. The pilot, I just was, mad that it wasn't that good. It was slow, it was boring. And what I don't get is, do the adults not watch the news? Because they announce on the news and show it that there's, an outbreak or, I guess, a disaster or whatever, but they don't seem to, only the kids seem to know what's going on. I didn't get that.
That honestly was my biggest problem with the show. We had 6 people get Ebola, and this country basically collapsed for 2 days.
Yeah.
Well,
but there's a zombie virus going around and nobody notices.
Yeah, and they say that it makes you attack people. That's one of the things, the virus, the side effects, you attack people, but they don't know what it is. But everybody's just going about their business, except for Nick.
Okay, so I'm going to say I agree with everybody, but Amy brings up 2 very, very good points, and Mike and I already had this discussion about expectations. What should our expectations be as opposed to balancing out? It's a new show. Let us give it a chance to grow on us. Well, the expectation is it's on AMC, and we've been inundated with commercials from the creators of The Walking Dead. Kirkland's name's on it, Nicotero's name's on it. Okay, they've been putting on a great show with The Walking Dead. So, hell yeah, you're telling me, here's a Mercedes. They're selling us a Cadillac of shows already before it even starts. So, should our expectations be high for the show? And now I'm talking about the entire first season, not just the first episode. But that's a conversation Mike and I had, and Mike is like, I don't know, were my expectations too high, or
Well, that's the thing. If this was a brand new show that had no connection to something that was an existing franchise or property or however you want to think about it, I would probably give it a lot more leeway than I am. But it
and there's just one other question.
He's built up our expectations.
One question I want to ask, because there was 2 things I shared out with everybody, and I put the links out for anybody watching. But in the timeline for day 2, and this was 16 days total that the 6 episodes span. In the pilot, apparently, the old man flatlines, and the doctors come in to resuscitate him, and immediately he is immediately brought to a lower floor under a doctor's strict orders. Now, I don't remember that happening. I remember, the guy flatlining and them taking him out. But I don't remember hearing a doctor say, "Hey, take him down to the basement right now." Um, and that's why I said I don't want to go by what's in the timeline. We're just going to use it for a timeline's sake. But I personally felt that the first episode was too long, with the uh, with the I'm going to call it character development type stuff, because I understood what was going on with that family in the first, I'm going to say, 15 minutes. And to Mike's comment earlier about Ebola, hey, did you know that the Pope was here in Philadelphia 2 weeks ago?
I heard something about it.
Okay. You could be the biggest non-news watching mother effer in the world, okay? And due to its proximity to Philadelphia, I'm sure that there was a lot of talk about the Pope coming to Philly down in Dillon's Way. But you didn't have to watch the news. The Pope coming to Philly was in the news every day. Everybody was talking about it everywhere I went, every freaking day. I travel around Philly and in South Jersey, and outside West, South, North Philly. I'm all over the place. And for the most part, I could not go a day without hearing somebody bringing up the Pope's visit. So you can be self-absorbed or oblivious like these people were and still know that something was going on. Now, they did know. The only thing I remember mentioned in the first episode was this flu. But I don't remember any news reports being going on in the background or anything else happening other than when it smacked them right in the face, which was what Amy said. They were oblivious. And there was a lot of people on Twitter that were saying the same thing, that these people have no clue about what's going on. But let's move on to episode number 2, which was the second episode, which was not the pilot. And that was So Close Yet So Far. So, first episode ends pretty much with Calvin, who was the clean-cut drug dealer that Nick, and to some extent Travis and Madison kill. And after they run him over a couple of times, his head turns, which was at the end of the first episode. They decide that they're going to flee to the desert. Now, I thought that they decided to flee to the desert because Madison goes back to the school, and the school closes for a half a day because, like, there's nobody in school.
Well, I mean, I remember being in high school, and that was a frequent occurrence. Get a half a day, flee to the desert.
Where did you go to high school, Mike? And where was the nearest desert?
It took. I'm not saying it was close. You had to work at it.
I mean, I guess the whole desert thing was, they see that because in the pilot they saw the guys get shot from the helicopter view, and they were on the road and they had the traffic, so they knew something was going on. So they figured, okay, maybe we don't need to be around people. If there is some sort of virus, we're not around people. We won't get sick. Plus, it'll give us a chance to have Nick get dry, or clean, rather, I should say, in a hostile environment, I guess, because that's what the desert is. I mean, did they mean Las Vegas, or did they just mean let's go to the desert and just sort of sit on a sand dune or something, or a butte or something? I don't know. There seem to be some flaws in that plan, I believe. But yeah, I mean, the school is half a day, and then when they decide they're going to leave, she goes back to the school and breaks in the medicine cabinet and picks up some drugs to ease him through his addiction. And then, well, lo and behold, who's there? It's Tobias is with them. And
everybody's favorite characters. The only person in the show that most people don't want to see die. I'm thinking that's my opinion, because who wants Tobias to die? Because he knew it from the get-go.
Well, I want to know what school keeps drugs there. Like, what school is this? What kind of school keeps drugs? Like, if they confiscate, they don't give them to cops.
No, I had to buy my drugs all throughout high school. So if there was just a supply of, like, I could have gone to the nurse's office. I was like, man, I'm coming down pretty hard. Hit me up.
Right? It was like BYOB. I brought my own stuff.
You have to realize this is California. You know, they put bean sprouts on pizza. You know, there's something wrong with those people out there. But yeah, Tobias. It's also where Madison basically has to kill the principal. I think his name was Art. And this is the part that kind of kills me. Actually, my next favorite person around the same time, when they're walking through the hall. And now, I guess this is one of those things that's happening in the background, but there was a group of students looking at the YouTube video from the previous episode. When Travis and Madison were driving around, there was a shooting on the interstate, and they had video of it. They were watching video footage on the cell phone, and the one girl that says, "Now watch this," and one of the cops finally hits the zombie right in the forehead, and she goes, "Kill shot, bitch," and she is my other most favorite character. They need to bring Killshot Bitch back.
So two things about that. One, in honor of Kelly, since he's not here, Killshot Bitch would be a great band name.
Yes.
And two,
that's already been done, but yeah, go ahead.
Two would be if a background character with one line is one of your favorite characters, it really says a lot about the quality of the show.
Yeah.
Really
background character. And it's barely a sentence.
When student number 7 is your second favorite character.
And you know what they did, right? They made them all say "kill shot bitch," and they picked the one who said it the best, and put that in the show. So they got the oxys. And now at this point, you know, I'm trying to give the show time. And so these kids are watching this video on the cell phone, and then Chris is on the bus trying to get home. And he comes to this riot that's starting. And so it seems like a lot of this is happening, you know, shrouded in police shootings, which is much in the news now. Anytime cops shoot people, everybody wants everybody to go to jail, even the bullets, you know, the sidewalk, the car, the trees, everything. I thought that was brilliant, you know, because it's going on now. And they end up in the barbershop. And did we lose Amy? Because to me, she's frozen.
She's sleeping.
I was looking at something.
No, you were on my end. You were frozen. You hadn't moved for like 45 seconds, and I knew.
To be fair, you're getting to about the part of the show when I started falling asleep.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what's going on. Caught me, busted.
Baron von Luchador was moving around a little bit. But no, you're right, Tony. I mean, you get to that point, but real quick before we get to that, I just want to hit some. So then when Madison has to end up killing the principal, that's like the first time that she's, you know, commits first blood. I mean, she does her first killing there to save Tobias, and that's when she starts to realize that, whoa, there's some serious shit going on. And that's when, you know, she heads back home, and then we have the riot sequence you were getting ready to talk about there, Tony.
But Madison never told anybody. Sorry, Madison didn't she? She didn't even mention it to Travis or anyone. They didn't even know what happened at the school, did they?
As far as we know, she hasn't. You know, it was not spoken about to anybody.
Yeah.
These people are just terrible communicators.
Yeah, they are.
Now, no matter what you've got going on in your life, okay, she gets back to the house and they don't have a radio, they don't have a TV. At this point, the only person that's not with her is Travis, Okay, he's out trying to get his kid, and he ends up getting his ex-wife too. And we just lost Dylan. And there's Dylan. He's coming back in. What happened,
Yeah,
Dill?
it happens every once in a while. It's something with the computer or something like that. It happened during my show on Sunday. It's real quick. When I see it happen, I know it's going to come back on in 2 seconds. So.
So, what do? They played fucking Monopoly. They didn't try and turn on a TV. Before they lost power. I mean, they had power for a while. It was a better show watching the lady across the street in the friggin' zombie bounce house.
Well, but to be fair, though, Tony, I think the point of that was that because of what Madison had just gone through, killing somebody and seeing that, Tobias could have been killed and she could have been killed, and the way the principal was all freaked out and stuff like that, and all the stuff that's been happening, she doesn't want to get her kids all worked up. She's trying to protect her kids. So it's like, we're not going to watch TV. We're not going to watch listen to radio. Let's do something where we don't look at social media at all. That's the take I got from it. I'm not saying that was the right thing to do, but I'm saying that's my take on why she did that.
Well, so I believe she spoke to Travis, though, and he told her that there was a riot going on. Okay, so you got a riot going on that your boyfriend, husband, significant other is involved in. You killed somebody today. Your son's a druggie, and he said he saw his girlfriend eating somebody. They went to the girlfriend's boyfriend's house and saw that he was sick, and I believe he had a bite.
Yeah, he did. He was bitten. Yeah.
So, all of these things going on at the same time with everything that was going on outside their house. I'm going to look at my kids. One of them is supposed to be 16, 17. I don't know how old Nick is supposed to be. But we're not dealing with a 7 and a 9-year-old or a 12 and a 14-year-old. We're dealing with almost adults. You need to find out what the hell is going on. I understand where Dylan's coming from, and they were packing their shit and getting ready to go because of some flu. But you want to know something? Wouldn't you want to turn on TV to find out what's going on where? Which roads am I going to avoid? How am I going to get out there? Hey, who says getting out to where we want to go is better than where we are right now? I just can't understand not. And I have an answer for it, but when we get to the finale part, I'll tell you what I think the reasoning is. So then we get to episode number 3. So after the first 2 episodes, if I asked you for a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give it? And Mike, we'll start with you.
I give it Sad Unicorn.
Sad Unicorn, okay. Dylan?
3.
Okay. First 2 episodes, Amy?
A 2.
A 2. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 2 because the thing is, there was times when things were happening and ramping up, and then it would drop down, like in fits and starts. Episode 3, the dog, and what happened in the dog. This is where, now a lot of stuff happened here, okay, and according to our timeline, this is only the 2nd day, I think, but I'm going to check on the timeline. But this is the episode where they escape from the barbershop. They're forced to, anyway. Actually, I said the 2nd day. It's probably the
3rd.
It might be the 4th day.
Well, it depends. But how long was
nighttime?
But how long was Nick in the hospital for? I mean,
Nick was only in the hospital overnight, so it's day 3. When they get to the dog. So day 3 takes us through episode number 2. And then day 3, because they were barely in the barbershop overnight. It was getting dark when they went in, and it was that same day when they left. So episode 2 ends on day 3, and I would guess day 3 night into day 4 day is when episode 3 happened. So we're 4 days in, and right at the beginning of the episode, they have it's not a montage, but it's them getting out and driving, and they're going to try and get Griselda to a hospital because she has the thing fall on her leg. And this is the thing that kind of freaked me out. Um, at one point, they're driving by a hospital. Now, I don't remember seeing zombie activity near the hospital, but there was National Guard there already. Okay, we're in day 4, and everybody seemed to be really shocked that National Guard was there. Um,
I think I did remember shooting outside of the hospital.
there was shooting, and
Yeah, like shooting.
and there was crowds of people, but it like the shots were so quick, and they were moving. They're almost like jump shots. So it was really hard to tell what was going on.
Who they were shooting.
Yeah, who they were shooting, what they were shooting at, don't know. But now, according to the timeline, it says a national state of emergency had been declared in 11 states, and that was something that was allegedly on the radio. I don't remember anything being on the radio in the background, unless it was so far in the background that you had to be listening really hard. Now, Dylan, you're shaking your head. Did you hear it or no?
I didn't hear it. No, I was agreeing with you. I was shaking my head. It's like I don't. As you said, also there's a lot of stuff that they say in the timeline and also in the Wikipedia descriptions as well, which I'm like, I really don't remember that. I mean, maybe it's one of those things where I have to watch it again to catch it all, because I was just trying to get a general idea of, okay, this is what the character's doing, this is where the story's going, so I wasn't really paying attention to maybe a lot of the background stuff, whereas, as you mentioned before, Tony, maybe that's something we should have done, paid a little bit more attention to what was going on back and behind the scenes, or rather in the background, because it was a lot of stuff was happening.
Yeah. Well, there was one thing that I kind of noticed, and I'm sure they're going to do a marathon when they start season 2. But in the pilot episode, they kept on driving by a park, and if you look out the window and look to see what's going on in the park, the first time they drive by, it looks like a normal park, and you see kids playing in the background on like the seesaws and the what we call monkey bars. I don't know what they call them in the rest of the country. The thing that the kids climb on.
Jungle gym.
Jungle gym.
Monkey bars, jungle gym, yeah.
Yeah. The next time they show the park, it's empty. They show it again, and there's a tent set up in the park at one point, and then I think the last time they show it, you see a couple of figures kind of just shuffling around in the park, aimlessly.
I remember that, yeah.
But, I mean, real quick, they're driving by, and, you see Madison like turning her head and taking a quick look, but it's not really there. It's real quick. That's the only background stuff that I noticed. Some of the other stuff, I mean, if it was on the radio when they were in the car, it may have been while they were yelling and stuff like, "What do we do?" Blah blah blah. And it may have been so buried in the audio that they really did a disservice by doing that. They could have brought it a little bit more to the forefront. But I thought 3 was the best episode up to that point. I was like, damn, this is good. Like, it felt like there was energy. They get back to the house. What do we do? What do we do? Okay, we're going to see if we can get to a hospital the next day. And this is the part that freaked me out. When they get to the end, I can't remember the neighbor lady's name.
Is it Susan something?
Susan Tran. Tran.
Yeah, they were Asian or.
Yeah, it's Susan Tran. That's what's in the timeline. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty that was pretty intense. But at the last second, who shows up and saves him?
The
National
National
Guard does.
Guard. Is that who? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're 4 days in, okay, and we have no idea when the state of emergency was declared.
Because
At
nobody there
least
watches the news.
no, because
Obviously.
they're all oblivious. Because they're all
They're
oblivious.
all high. I
But
think Nick is actually sober, and everybody else is effed up all the
I'm
time.
going to give you my impression of Nick is, and I tweeted this out a couple of times. He reminds me of Johnny Depp. And specifically, there's a couple of scenes when he's kind of walking around in a jerky type way, Edward Scissorhands. But we'll get to the part that made me laugh really hard, which is really bad because this show should never make you laugh unless somebody's making a joke. Okay? The National Guard shows up at the end of episode 3, and I was like, where did they come from? That was really quick that the National Guard came in, and that's when we started to see a little bit about Daniel, and I was like, Daniel, he's a good guy. I like Daniel. Daniel's going to be a guy that I'm probably going to be rooting for because he knows what the deal is. We've only got 2 more episodes before we get to the finale. Yay. The next one, episode number 4, is called Fade Away. So now this is 9 days later. So we're 13 days in, and this is the episode that starts out with Chris on the roof, and he sees the flashes. He's doing his video diary. And there was a lot of things that happened in this episode. This is the episode where we meet Doug. He's the guy who's not letting the National Guard test him. They're going house to house looking for sick people and whatnot. And Nick was starting to grow on me a little bit, and then this was like everybody's like, Nick, you're such a dick.
I like him.
I like him because you want to know something. When we get to the end, I'll tell you why. Because I know what's going to happen with him. Everybody knows what's going to happen with this guy.
Nick?
Yeah,
Nick.
Him and Carl become best friends.
No, he changes his name to Merle and ends up in Georgia. That's what I think ends up happening with him.
That's
what
6 years of drug use does to you. Turns you into Michael Rooker.
Yeah. And you become a Guardian of the Galaxy too. So this one was basically just a big setup to get us to the end. Again, after episode 3 that had a lot of action and a lot of stuff going on, now 9 days later, okay, we don't know what happened in between 3 and 9. But at this point, there's no news. There's only whatever news is coming from the military. Okay. What else happened? Oh, they end up taking Nick too because he was a druggie. So Nikki gets taken. Griselda gets taken.
We meet the chick doctor.
We meet the chick doctor, Dr. Exner. Is this the episode, or is it the next episode where Madison goes out and takes a look and sees them going around just shooting people
It's
randomly?
the next episode. It's the 5th episode. This one was just build up to, okay, this is where we are now. This is what's happening, and so because Travis didn't believe Chris when he said that there were people flashing lights from the demilitarized zone or whatever you want to call it out there, and Madison was the one that actually believed him, and she was getting anxious. I think that's number. I could be wrong though, because if he gets taken at the end of maybe it is this one.
Yeah, it is this one because the next one is Cobalt, which is the one.
Okay, yeah, you're right. So sorry. Yeah, Dawn Madison attempts to contact people who communicate. Yeah, it's not Fade Away. So yeah, okay. I apologize. I was wrong with that.
Yeah.
Okay. But that was before Nick got taken, so she just did it on her own accord, not because of what happened with Nick, and she went out to look around, saw them shooting everybody, and then was able to make her way back without being seen, and then then all hell breaks loose with them taking Griselda and Nikki then.
Right. And that ends that. So now we're 4 episodes in. At this point, it seems like everybody gave the season episodes 1 and 2 a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10. At this point, would you still have given it a 2, or would you have upped it a little bit?
That's you, Amy, because you did
Yeah.
it too.
I was like, okay. Yeah. I mean, I would have just gone up like a point of 3.
Okay.
Just
And
because
Mike?
there's some stuff that's so exciting, but then the rest of it is so boring.
So, Mike, would you change from said unicorn to
Mildly
non-committed?
upset or mildly upset.
I would change it from sad unicorn. We're still doing scale of 1 to 10, right?
Yeah.
Tropical Skittles.
Okay.
Like
Everybody
it's
loves
still
Skittles.
Skittles.
Not tropical
But
Skittles. Blech.
Tropical, right?
Disgusting.
And you're just like, I really want Skittles.
Yeah, because you can't mix a coconut with a pineapple Skittle, I'm guessing. Is that what I'm hearing?
Right. So
Okay.
you're just like, man, I really want Skittles, but all they have is tropical Skittles. That's the way I felt about it.
Okay. So, but would that be better than said unicorn?
Maybe slightly. Just a tiny, tiny eyelash falling out of the crying unicorn's eyes.
Okay.
Better.
So, Dylan, where would you be?
I think I agree. I'd probably jump it up a point also, make him up to 4, just because the episode 3 was so good, and I kind of like the talking to somebody in the outbreak zone. I thought that was kind of interesting also, but then we just get back into the family dynamic thing. I was like, oh god, all right, I get it. But yeah, I'd probably jump it up another point to 4 probably at that point.
Well, after episode 3, I would have bumped it up to a 7.
Wow,
but
really?
Again, yeah, after episode 3, I was really happy with. I was like, okay, we're moving. We've got some stuff going on now.
I mean, 3 I definitely thought was the best of the season.
No answers. The family was still oblivious, but I did not care because there was some action. Then we had episode number 4. Okay. I said, okay, we got to set some stuff up because we're getting close to the finale. So overall, I just up it 1, 2, or 3 with you guys. Tropical Skittles. Dylan, why don't you take us through episode number 5?
Because I liked, to be honest, I thought with Cobalt they got back to a good zone again. Maybe not as good as a dog, but I think if I'd have to say maybe Cobalt was maybe my second favorite episode of the season, mainly because of the introduction of Strand, who I absolutely love. I called him the closer, and I love having a character that you don't know what's going on with him, but he seems such like a badass. Doesn't give a rat's ass about anything, and it's kind of a dick at the same time. The poor Fred or Scott or Steve or whatever his name was, but I liked it because you get a little bit more in there, because now people are beginning to realize there's something going on. We need to find out what it is. Now, the only thing I didn't like, and this is a personal preference, is I hate anything to do with torture. And then they pull out the torture card in this one. I was like, okay, that's why it wasn't as good. But at the same time, I kind of understood why they might have needed to do that, because at this time, Ruben Blades was, Danny was, I like to call him Ruben Blades, so because it's just a badass name. Ruben Blades Fanning. There you go. And Amy's not listening again.
I am, yeah. No, that's one of my favorite characters. I like him a lot.
But then you get into him. We learn a little bit more about him. We learn that you're expecting him he was the one that got tortured and stuff like that. But then we discover in the end that he was the one that was he had to make a choice, and he made the choice that he would become the torturer instead. I guess to go along with to make sure that his family was safe, and that was the only way he could do it. And then eventually he was able to get out, and hopefully things would get better. But he still kept that up there. But things started ramping up a little bit more now, because the tension's starting to get higher now, and then especially when we find out what Cobalt actually is. And that's the one where everything just sort of changes for everybody, I think, because then all of a sudden it's like they're going to kill us all. They don't care about us anymore. They're done their time. They see no way that this is going away anytime soon. So we're gonna cut our losses and get the hell out of Dodge. But we can't have anybody around to notice that we jump ship. So we're gonna kill everybody. So that was kind of an intense thing also. The other thing I didn't like about the episode was the whole Alicia Chris thing, because now you're sort of figuring out, okay, what are we doing with these extraneous characters? They really have nothing to do with the show now, because Chris is the son of Travis and his ex-wife now, but he did his little time where he was in the riot, and then all of a sudden he was communicating with somebody on the outside, but now he's reverted back to, okay, I'm just hanging around doing stuff. And then Alicia, who's just been an awful character, and I don't know if this is just me projecting this or if it's something they're building up to, but Alicia and Chris sort of having those little looks at each other, sort of like a little bit of stepbrother, stepsister love going on possibly, and they go into the rich person's house,
which is legal.
I guess. Yes, it is. It is legal because they're not first cousins. They're step siblings. And they're not even step siblings because the parents aren't married yet. So, but they go into this rich person's house and destroy it just because, we can do whatever the hell we want to now. And they put on fancy clothes and they pretend to act like grown-ups. And then there's just a little bit looks at their faces because Alicia's wearing the backless dress and the flowy thing, and he's wearing the suit and tie thing.
Dylan, you're being a little bit naive here. She was being what is referred to in certain areas as a tease.
Yes.
Because she knew what she was doing. She wanted to see him looking at her.
She knew he was watching.
Yeah. And he felt that he knew it was wrong for him to be watching, but it's not like, if she didn't want to be seen, she could have closed the door. And that
spoken like a peeping Tom.
But still, my favorite part about the ending, though, was after we find out about Cobalt and the soldiers, like, we killed a bunch of people or we rounded up a lot of the infected and put them in the stadium. Daniel sneaks out and goes up to the stadium and hears the hammering and realizes, okay, it's true that everything that he said is true, so he's not just lying to get out of being tortured more. And so you start seeing the wheels turning in his head, and that leads us to the finale.
Yeah. 2000 now. Remember at the end of episode number 3, we had Daniel say it's already too late, and then that brings us to episode 5. Yeah, and you want to know something? They're bored teenagers, and bored teenagers will do what bored teenagers will want to do, which is just either have sex, do drugs, or trash
shit.
the rich people's house.
Listen, I'm 33, and that's still what I do when I'm bored.
But now here goes the question that I've been dying to ask Mike, and I don't know why I needed to pose this question to Mike. So, Dylan, we're talking about Mr. Strand, the mysterious Mr. Strand, who seems to be either a con man, a salesman. He basically saves Nick, and he says to Nick, I'm going to need a man of your talents. So, I want to know, what did he think? Because I missed the first couple of minutes of the finale, so I don't know if he went on to expound on what those particular talents were, but we do find out in the finale that he can pick pockets, because he did take the key out of Mr. Strand's pockets. Episode number 5, to me, if I was to grade it by itself, I would have given it a 6. And the reason I would have given it a 6 was because I don't believe in torture either, but the guy said, I don't know nothing, I don't know nothing, I don't know nothing. By the end of the show, we find out that Operation Cobalt is, kill everybody and, evacuate the area because it's no good anymore. And we find out about the 2,000 people that are in the arena. So he went from someone that knew absolutely nothing to a wealth of information. So I said a 6. I'm going to, just for that episode, it was almost as good as 3, but it was good in what they in what we found out, and we also got to see inside the headquarters more and what was going on around there.
Yeah, Griselda's death as well is a big death in that one, where they took the cow shooter thing and just go cow.
Oh, like the cattle gun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what'd you think of it, Amy?
Cobalt. That was probably my favorite episode out of all of them. I really liked Daniel. Let's see, Strand. I love him. I like his cufflinks. They're probably my favorite character. I just like how he's a hustler. And you're talking about his talent. He needed Nick's talent. I think he knew that Nick was a hustler too. Like, he's a drug addict, and yeah, Nick's already the type that his everyday life isn't like ours. He's already just living day by day. He doesn't have any plans or anything. So I think Strand saw that, and that's why he wanted to bring him along with him, become friends.
If he picked Nick because Nick was a goal-oriented type of person, he probably picked the right guy. The problem is Nick's only goal is to get drugs, but he will do whatever he needs to do to get to them. But I still would like that. Yeah. I still would like to know what his obvious talents were, because you'd have to have some kind of skill, and so. Would anybody want to share what their number rating? And we'll start with Mike for episode number 5, Cobalt, which was my second favorite episode.
So I'm definitely going to have to go with a decimal point on this one instead of a whole number. So I'm going to say optimistic curmudgeon.
Okay, that's pretty good.
So
almost somewhere right there.
That's almost a Leo McAllister then. So you Leo'd episode number 5. I just
optimistic curmudgeon. It's my overall outlook of the show is really, really negative by this point in my viewing experience, but it was the second flutter of interest that I had for the show on its own merit.
Okay. And did I get one from you, Dylan? A number?
No, not yet. I guess I would say 6, maybe, like you said. 6 sounds about right. What about you, Amy? Amy, you said it was one of your favorites. What would you rate
samesies, a 6.
Okay.
A 6. Yeah, there are a lot of. I mean, that episode, it was. I don't think I got bored once. I'm so ADD. That was definitely my favorite one, but still a 6. No higher.
Or higher.
I said no higher than that.
No higher than 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that brings us to the finale, and a lot of stuff happened in the finale, but by the time the finale got over, I was very, very, very angry for a whole bunch of reasons. It started out phenomenal. That first scene where Danny is being the Pied Piper was freaking awesome.
You should save your bullets. Is that what he said?
Yeah, he said.
They're like, what are you doing here? And he goes, you should save your ammunition.
Yeah. So right after that, right behind Daniel, comes the 2,000 zombies that we're assuming were in the arena. Now, I started scratching my head because, okay, we got fresh zombies, and we've got old zombies. But there should always be some new zombies because people are always dying. Um, in season 1 of The Walking Dead, those dudes ran. There was running zombies. Okay? Here comes Daniel. I mean, even in The Walking Dead now, they move a little faster than these guys were moving. Daniel's just walking right by. Says, hey, save your bullets, save your ammo. And then all of a sudden, he just casually strolls by. Here comes the 2,000 zombies. You want to know something? An old lady with a walker, safe, because she could just shuffle away from these things. And I'm scratching my head. I was like, didn't they run? I mean, am I wrong? Didn't they run in the first? And I didn't. I was going to try and catch some of the first season that started on Monday, just to see if my memory was correct. Where
on The Walking Dead, yeah,
Yeah.
they do. They run. They're faster.
It's when, especially when they rush Rick on the horse. Actually, is the other one also is when they really get him on the horse in that one.
Right.
Now, my theory is, and I know you're probably going to shoot a hole in it, but this is just, and I'm not saying it's the right answer, and I'm not saying it's what it is. I just think basically, I'm going to give you a couple of things. One, what probably really happened was, behind the scenes stuff. Frank Darabont was the showrunner in the first season of Walking Dead. He wanted to do a show about more fast-moving zombies, and then gradually they started slowing down after he departed as a showrunner, and then became slower. And in that aspect, we look at it as, okay, it's because they've been around for a long time now, and they're getting slower and slower. Their bodily functions aren't moving as well. Now, if you want to take a look at it from that aspect, how about we look at these? These are, as you said, we're day 15, something like that.
Mhm.
Technically, what if we consider these as like baby zombies who are just learning their way to walk, so they're shuffling, and then the ones we saw 6 months later in Walking Dead are now in adolescent phase, so now they're anxious and they're jumping all over the place and running and jumping all over the place, and then now in the twilight of the thing, they're getting older now into their 40s and 50s where they're slowing down a little bit. If you want to look at it that way. The main reason, I think, is due to the fact that it was behind-the-scenes stuff, is that Darabont wanted fast ones. Kirkman probably didn't. In the end, he said, you know what, we're just going to go back to the way it is. Everybody knows them as being slow and shuffling. Let's stick with that and ignore the fact that they were fast in the first season. But if you want to try to figure out an idea, maybe there's a growth thing where the zombies are the first time ever. They've never been zombies before. They're trying to get a feel for themselves. Then, 6 months later. But see, the thing is, I know what you're going to say. Then why is all of them like that now and not just, like that? I know. I'm just.
That's a really interesting analogy, though, that you're hitting on there.
Like they need sustenance. They need brains. Kind of like a vampire needs blood to be strong. That could be it.
You should definitely write a book, though, like Growing Up Zombie.
Zombie babies.
But Tony, I think in the end, I think you'll agree with me that it's probably more of a behind-the-scenes production decision and not something in the storyline. And I know you probably need to have more of you want to try to have more of a linear path. If they've always shown being fast, and they should always be fast. I understand that, but maybe just because of the bad blood between Darabont and whoever else at AMC.
Well, one of the things that I know that definitely happened was AMC liked The Walking Dead, but one of the things that one of the things that AMC asked for was to see if they can make the show at a lower lower cost. So they wanted to decrease the number of zombies because the biggest expense they had was in the extras and the makeup artists that had to make them up. And I don't have a problem with less zombies because, I mean, with CGI, if you remember when the zombies came to Herschel's farm, they showed a massive horde of zombies coming to the fences. Now, what they actually showed was probably maybe 50 to 100, but that wasn't the norm. we'd get to see 5 or 6 zombies an episode, so there weren't a lot. So they did cut down on the number of zombies. Um, and it just seemed to me that they made a conscious effort after the first season to slow the zombies down a little bit, for whatever reason, because they seem to be running all the time. And I just didn't, should they be running all the time? No. Zombies
I remember,
decay.
if I remember correctly, I swear in the first season, like some zombies would even like climb ladders and stairs. Do y'all remember seeing anything like that?
Yeah, well, there
And a
was
few times.
definitely,
They had to have been because they get to the roof where Merle was.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
they did get up there, and I don't remember what the how they got up there, but yeah. So I mean, but that was one of my problems. One of my problems was right off the bat, they, you know, didn't seem to have a problem getting to where um, Daniel led them. Took them some time, um, but then that leads to the next problem.
Well, what would have been cool though, I think, is if they would have just done what I think you might be suggesting is why don't we just cover Daniel in guts and blood like they did in the first season, and then have them rush. I think that'd be more of an intense thing. I mean, I think that's why you're mad, Tony, is because wouldn't it be cool to just Daniel wouldn't get affected because the zombies to them with the muck and the stuff if he puts that on, and then just watching them rush this refugee camp and hitting these army guys. Wouldn't that be cool? Is that why you're kind of
No, because the next part of why I got mad was, okay, so you got these army guys. Okay, now we all knew that it wasn't a question of if, but when that fence was coming down, because we all knew that fence was coming down. We've seen fences come down before. With all of the bullets that the military guys were firing into this horde of zombies, you could not miss. Now, every bullet wasn't going to be a headshot, but if you hit a zombie enough times in the legs and you break the bones in the leg, it doesn't make a difference what you are. Those bones are holding up the body. The body will fall down to the ground. Okay, it may not be dead, but you will stop it. Okay, there should have been zombies falling left and right. I didn't see one zombie fall. Did not see one zombie go down at all. As a matter of fact, they were revitalized by the bullets. And then, to top everything off, while this is going on, they were able to somehow sneak into the parking garage. Get by all the zombies at the front gate. There must have been another entrance somewhere.
I was wondering that myself. How'd they end up there? How'd they get in there?
Okay.
All the crap going on.
So then the next thing that they did that I thought was really stupid. Okay, let's put that aside. Instead of everybody staying together, which everybody knows is horror movie 101, you never split up. Unless you're going to split up in two evenly groups, like half of the people go one way and the other half go the other way. But you don't split up. What did they do? They left the kids in the garage.
Split up? Yeah, the two dumbest ones, they leave alone.
So they get in. Now, this, Dylan, is why those zombies weren't fast. Okay, they get in there, they see what's going on, they find Liza, okay, and then Nick is making his escape with Mr. Strand. His ride out, he finds, is being munched on by a zombie. The zombie, in every other episode of The Walking Dead, could be eating, but whenever some new food comes around, most of the time the zombie gets distracted by the new food and goes after the new food. Not these zombies. They keep on eating what they're eating because, it's feeding time at the zoo. And then what happens? The zombies decide that they're going to chase them. But it's okay, because it took those zombies a week to get down to the end of the hall. You know, they get to those doors that are locked. The zombies are all the way down there, but don't worry about it. They're not going to be here till next week. Why? Because they're not running, they're shambling. Now, meanwhile, they're all afraid and stuff. And Liza shows up and she's swiping her card. Let's make some fake drama here, people. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And they get through at the last minute. It took 15 minutes for the zombies to get down the hall. What the hell were you so swipey for? And then the zombies get through that door. Now the zombies seem to speed up a little bit. So the zombies are only slow when the script says, okay, the zombies are slow. And then when we need the zombies to be a little bit quicker, they're a little bit quicker. So they go down through some rooms, they end up in a kitchen, and this is the part that had me laughing out loud. I don't remember I think it was Madison that was about to get eaten by a zombie. And here comes Edward Scissorhands Nick. And he picks up the hammer. He's all shaky and stuff, but he whacks the zombie. And after he whacks the zombie, he's still all shaky and stuff. And I was hysterical, you know, because most of the time he's okay, but every once in a while he gets to be all shaky. So, I mean, I don't know if he's having, you know, sometimes he's having really bad shakes, and most of the time it's not so bad, but I just thought it was hysterical, and I started laughing, and I said, wait, I'm laughing at this guy, and I don't know why I'm laughing at this guy, but I just thought it was funny. I can continue ripping this episode apart, but, I mean, all of a sudden, after that, they go into the next room, and guess what? There's no friggin' zombies. Why? Because they need to have a conversation, which is basically what happened. They have a conversation, you know. Then this stuff happens with the kids, with the grubby-looking military guys.
The rapey ones.
The rapey ones.
Super rapey.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, there's a whole bunch of undead people out here, but the only thing I can think about is being rapey. Do you want to know something? I'm not even thinking about, give me the keys, I'm going, you know. Meanwhile, there wasn't enough military vehicles or other cars around there that they could have taken.
Exactly.
You know.
That was my point also. You're in a freaking parking garage.
You're in a parking garage. Look at all the cars.
Guys, you can hotwire shit if you need to. Come on.
But then, okay, of course they walk out the back door. And now it's like the next day because it's light out. And of course, what do they have to walk right by? And this is the part that made me laugh too, because the skeleton that's on top of the pile is Griselda, and you know it's Griselda because it's missing part of its leg. But it seemed to me like Ophelia and Danny were on one side of the pile, and the side of the pile that the skeleton was on was the opposite side, which from where they were standing, they should not have been able to see Griselda's skeleton that was readily identifiable because it was missing part of its leg, but she starts to cry because it's got to be on top of that pile of ash. And now here comes the biggest thing that really pissed me off. So they go out the back door, right? Where the fuck are all the zombies? What happened to all the zombies? There was 2,000 zombies in that arena. Okay. There should have been zombies all over the place. No zombies. They're in the car, and I start laughing again. Why? Because Nick is in the back seat sticking his head out of the window like a dog. I was waiting for him to bark. Okay? They showed 3 zombies on the road. This is Los Angeles. What's the population of Los Angeles? 8 million people? 10 million people? There's no zombies. It was 3 zombies on the road in one scene. There's no blocked roads. All of the roads are clear. You see some fires in some buildings up ahead. They show one road, one highway, with a traffic backup on it. Just one road. The other side was totally clear. Where's all the zombies? this is not Atlanta now. This is LA. So I don't know the difference in population.
Oh, there's a big one.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking we should have seen more than 3 zombies on the freaking road.
Agreed.
And there's none. None. So they get to this guy's house. And the best was when we finally see Agatha, he looks at the boat through his binoculars there. And it was a CGI boat. It was a nice CGI boat.
Abigail.
Abigail,
Yeah.
Abigail,
Yeah.
Agatha, whatever. Who the fuck cares? But it was just like I thought funny. Like they're never getting to that boat. That's why it's a CGI boat. They're never gonna get to that boat for some reason. And then we find out that Eliza got bit, and she tells them something that our friends in the Big Show did not know until the end of the second season. Rick knew at the end of the first season, but they didn't know till the end of the second season that it doesn't matter how it happens. When you die, you come back. Okay? So they are armed with this information a lot sooner than our friends in the Big Show.
Well, the thing is that's not that far-fetched, though, because Liza had been working with the government.
Oh, no, she said she saw it. No, I'm just saying that
Okay.
we're only 6 episodes in, and this is a truth that the people in the other show did not find out.
I think the main reason probably why is because, okay, we know we're more than likely people who are watching this show watch The Walking Dead, so we may as well just not have to go through the whole thing about why why is this happening, why when you die you all of a sudden turn whatever. It'd be more along as, okay, we understand it, we get it now, so they can just keep moving along with the storyline. I think possibly.
In The Walking Dead though, the people had conversations like now. See, the thing about The Walking Dead that was awesome was we were in the same position that Rick was in. Okay, Rick wakes up from that coma, and he wakes up into a strange new world. He doesn't know what the hell's going on, and he's got to learn things for himself. When he hooks up with people, he says, "What the hell happened?" And he says, "Nobody knows. It started out as a flu, and then people died, and when they died, they started coming back, and they'd eat you, and then those people would die, and then come back and try and eat you." But they also lived through the things that happened in Atlanta. Like there was those flashbacks where like they're all on the highway and the helicopters are coming in doing the napalming and stuff like that, so they could tell you what happened. Here goes a family that's actually living through that piece of it right now, and even if they were doing stuff in the background with the news, they had it buried so far deep that it was really hard to find or to pick up on. And my opinion is Kirkman has said that he knows how it started and knows what it is, and he doesn't want to reveal it. He doesn't have it written down yet, so he hopes he doesn't die. He knows where The Walking Dead is going. He knows where this show is going. I think he purposely is avoiding it, and that's why this family is so oblivious. And any information that he wants to give out, he wants to be really careful about giving it out, but he's purposely trying to avoid doing that. And that's like in the last episode, I was like, does he think I'm stupid? I mean, forget about the information and how everything started. Where's all the people? What's going on? When he didn't go right into downtown, but Rick, when he goes into Atlanta, there's zombies. And this is at the beginning. There should be, they're evacuating LA. Why? Because they can't hold it anymore. It must be full of zombies. So, was there anything I missed, or am I being too harsh on this show?
I don't think you're being too harsh. I think we all had overly high expectations in the beginning. but at least speaking for myself, they came nowhere near meeting my expectations.
Mhm. Yeah, same. I feel like it was just so hyped up. Uh, it was it was nothing like I thought it would be. By the way that they were talking about it when season 5 of The Walking Dead ended, and they were talking about the new spinoff show, I was like, hell yeah, this is gonna be so awesome. It was nothing like I imagined. It was slow, and the characters were just like I said. I think Nick's the sober one, and everybody else is just high. The communication with people.
Okay, there's almost 4 million people living in LA. And there's about 8 million people in New York. And Atlanta. According to Google, the population of Atlanta is, wow, 5.49 million. The metro Atlanta area.
Call me surprised. I thought it'd be less than that.
Well, I'm guessing that, if we looked at the LA metro population, it's got to be higher than 3.8 million. Wow, there's more people in Atlanta than in LA? No. You see, now, when I type in the LA metro population, it comes up as 13 million residents. Okay. So, and that's not counting, Trump's friends. With an estimate of up to 18.5 million people living in the LA metro area. Because the 13 million number comes from 2010 and the 18 million number comes from 2014. So you've got 18 million versus 5 million in an area, and you see 3 zombies. So, I mean,
Maybe it's a budget thing, like you said before, a budget thing. They couldn't.
Well, did you see the M. Night Shyamalan version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp?
Yeah. Yeah,
They
with
had
like the Oompa Loompas.
They had
Yeah.
one Oompa Loompa. It was one guy, and they
Mhm.
CGI'd him a million times.
Yeah.
All you need is about 10 people made up 3 different ways each. Okay, you get 30 people, and if you put them in the right order, or if even sometimes you just change their clothes, you can make that 150 people. And once you get 150 people, once you scatter them out and separate them, you can drop more CGI'd zombies in of them, and especially if you're doing quick takes and stuff, nobody'd notice in the background. The only time you have to worry about is when you have a close-up shot where there's like 7 or 8 zombies, in a wall coming towards you. Then you have to make sure that they're all different size, shapes, colors, and wearing different clothes, and the makeup is really, really good because it's actually gonna be seen. But when you have, when you're gonna do a far, long shot, you can CGI a whole bunch of motherfuckers. I'm sure that they've got some CGI guys that were CGI'd from The Walking Dead. I'm sure they'd share that stuff over. So
There's like a folder of CGI zombies. You remember the boat though, like his yacht? It was so shitty, like quality. And you said before, like they're never gonna make it to it because it's just so shitty.
Yeah, because if they were really going to make it to that boat, they wouldn't have used the CGI boat because it just looked so bad to me.
Well, here's the thing: is maybe they ran out of their budget, so when their second season starts, they'll actually have the real boat set up. Maybe they haven't built up the set yet.
Like,
Well,
hopefully we can find one like that.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they would have had to pick one out beforehand because they'd have to have a boat that looked like the boat that they CGI'd, you know? I do have an email that I want to, if my computer, here we go. One of the things I asked Kelly to do is just to give me a quick synopsis, and you know, the Carl Award of who is the biggest dick out of the kids. Um, Chris, um, Chris, Nick, or Alicia. And so I'm going to ask you people first before I read his stuff. Amy, out of the three kids, who gets the Carl is a Dick Award?
And that's a tie between Alicia and Chris. I'm going to say Alicia.
Okay, Dylan?
I agree with Amy. I think it would be between Alicia and Chris, but I'd have to lean more towards Alicia.
Mike?
I'm gonna have to go with the crowd on this one.
Okay. I'm going to go contrary to you guys, and I'm going to say Nick. But Alicia wins because I asked Kelly the same question, and his answer was, now I said the kids. Chris is a dick, and I want him to die, die, die. So that's a vote for Chris. He said Travis is a dick, and I want him to die, die. And Nick is a dick, and I want him to die. So I guess with 3 dies, he picked Chris. So because it's 3 votes to 1 to 1, Alicia wins the Carl is a Dick Award, the first ever Carl is a Dick Award. So congratulations to her. I also asked him to give me some pluses and minuses, but Kelly probably had one of the best tweets of the whole show so far when Travis was beating the living crap out of Andy. I think Kelly tweeted out, and I might be paraphrasing, but he said, Travis, you should save some of that hostility for the guy who let Andy go free.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought was a brilliant tweet. So there you go, Kel, giving you heads up. Okay, so Kelly's pluses were people not trusting the cops when things start going bad, and this makes things worse, is an interesting angle. Daniel can be on my survival team anytime. And another plus was there is no ski lodges, Dylan. So he knew you were going to be here. That was aimed at you. Negative. Except for Daniel, I hate all of these characters. If Travis tries to reason with one more walker, I am going to scream. Still mad they buried us with backstory the first episode. Lazy writing. And the guys all dress worse. Oh, the guys all dress worse than Joe Webb in Zombie Apocalypse. So that was from Kelly. And there is just one other thing I want to take a quick look at because I did see if anybody wanted to play along at home. If anybody wanted to submit anything real quick. And it may have ended up in here. If my mouse wants to work. I think I might need a new battery. So, was there anything I missed? Am I wrong on anything? Or did I say something that was like, wow, you know, Tony's right. I didn't notice that. That these zombies were just shuffling along?
I mean, at this point, I think that most people are used to them shuffling along, so that's the reason why they went with it. Not that it's the right thing to do, but they figured, let's throw back to, you know, everybody watch The Walking Dead now. Fans are watching this show. Yeah, they're the walking zombies. They might not remember what happened in season 1. They all remember what's happened in the present season. So maybe they just thought that. But no, you're right on a lot of your targets as well. I mean, it was a lackluster first season, and if you want to look at it, let's look at The Walking Dead's first season. I mean, I'm not saying it's as bad. I mean, the first season of Walking Dead was excellent, but there were some not mediocre, but not fantastically great episodes. I mean, it was interesting to find out about the gangbangers who took over the old people's home, that type of thing. But still, it was kind of a type of thing, and just the whole CDC thing as well was just sort of okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it was worse. It wasn't. Walking Dead season 1 is 10 times better than 100 times better than Fear the Walking Dead season 1, but it's just finding its shoes now. It's finding its footing now. So maybe they'll see the reaction that people have had with it. Maybe now they've got all the extraneous shit out of the way with this first season. Maybe then they can start saying, okay, now the whole world is open to us. We've got a freaking boat. I'm on a boat. And we can do whatever we want now, and we can hopefully, the characters have started to change a little bit because of what they've been seeing, and hopefully they'll, maybe the second season will be much better. I mean, I think they said it's 15 or 16 episodes, so we've got almost 3 times the amount of of Fear the Walking Dead than we did this first season. So,
well, I just think that they really had the opportunity to show the breakdown of civilization, and they didn't. What we did see was the soldier guys that were with Travis when they were taking him to command decide that they were going to abandon ship and leave, go back to San Diego. But I mean, one of the things that I was saying to myself was like, okay, if your central command is over here, I mean, most of the time, and I might be wrong if anybody has any military experience, you're going to secure a certain location, and then you're going to work outward from the center instead of, especially in an urban type area, you're going to want to try and work out from your center, and it seemed like there was a lot of badlands in between where their head HQ was and where they were living, Travis and his family, wherever they are. And like that didn't make too much sense to me. But I mean, we did see some of that stuff happen. We didn't see anybody do anything or have. I mean, if there's going to be the state of emergency in 11 states declared, okay, you're talking about something that's on a national emergency type thing, okay, and it doesn't make a difference what the hell's going on. Word is going to get out that the president's going to be on TV tonight and talk about this crap, okay? People are going to tune in, but we didn't get to see any kind of official government response other than maybe some stuff that may have been buried in the background, and these military guys, and Operation Cobalt. I mean, what's the chain of command? Who's in charge? Who's telling these people they're going to pull out? What the hell is going on? We know even less than Rick did right now. If you never saw The Walking Dead before, you know less now than Rick did when he woke up and was confronted by zombies when he walked out the hospital. I just think that they're trying to make it more dramatic by having these people oblivious, which is just, especially in this era where everybody's got a phone, and you can instantly get anything. Well, now they can't, but at the beginning of the show, when there was still infrastructure there, you could Google anything, and nobody's Googling anything. Even if this is taking place 6 years ago, which it wasn't, because it seemed like it was set today, I don't know.
And you're right, and you make a good point. I mean, maybe, and we can talk until the sun comes up about what we could do to improve the show, but maybe one of the things they could have done was to give more of a global, not global, but at least countrywide, an aspect of, okay, 11 states have called a state of emergency. Now, which ones? And how are they reacting to it? And then maybe also we should focus on more than one family also. Yeah, it's a mixed family, but I guarantee you there's probably also a family out there that is exactly like what you think, Tony, that are out there who are living and dying by every word. They're watching the news. They're listening. They're figuring out what's going on for themselves. They're hearing all this stuff. I'm sure there's probably families out there that do that. They just chose to, as you said, and I think you hit it right on the head. I think they're trying to build suspense or whatever, make you feel fearful for them, because these people don't know what the hell's going on and what they're going up against, and so and maybe they should, but that's making it more dramatic than if someone says, like a Tobias who's like, damn, I know exactly what's happening. I'm gonna get myself some food. I'm gonna get myself some shelter. I'm gonna go to a ski lodge. It'd be fantastic, and hide out. So, ski resort as it were, and take care of business. And maybe that's where they should have gone, but then we kind of see that with The Walking Dead, so maybe they wanted to take a different view of it. I'm not defending it. I'm just saying maybe this is the mindset that they're going through.
Yeah, you would think with all the paparazzi running around LA that there would be some
Yeah.
pictures and stuff. But yeah, I mean, Dylan Gillen, it's getting late. You brought up something like a global view. Okay, they could have always had a newscast on where just, hey, the flu's been reported in 16 states now, 20 states. It's very deadly. We've got reports of rioting. Doctors don't know what the source is. And that's one way of addressing it right up in front of your face without giving out any kind of information. But it seems like they want to keep a lid on the entire thing. A global view would have been great. Reports of people with the flu in Tokyo. In Sydney. All over the world. Did anybody watch the webisode that they were harping on?
I did.
Incessantly.
I watched it.
Did you catch it, Mike?
No, I didn't.
It's awesome. Amy, did you watch
No.
it? So they've done this with The Walking Dead. I think they've done it with every season, and I bailed on watching. But it's usually a couple of minutes long, and it seems like every Sunday they're going to release another piece. So the first one's a minute and a half long. It's on AMC.com. I actually tweeted the link
It's also
earlier in the week.
Yeah, it's also on YouTube also.
So you can find it on YouTube. It's a minute and 22 seconds long, and the funny thing is, when the announcer comes on, and it'll happen on Sunday. You want to find out more about Fear the Walking Dead? Watch the webisodes, and you learn absolutely nothing. You learn absolutely nothing, so you're not going to find out more. Why? Because they don't want us to know more. That's the bottom line. I think, it's information he doesn't want to give out yet. But so having had a mental struggle in my mind for a week, I feel like I am justified in being pissed off and angry. I feel like I've been ripped off. I'm glad I didn't have to pay money to watch these 6 episodes, because I would have been really, really pissed off if I would have had to pay money.
I like what the webisode was building up to. I mean, it's a minute and a half, or a minute 20 seconds, whatever, and it's the first of multiple. They said they're going to air a new one during The Walking Dead this season, so that's about 7 episodes right there. So you're going to get about the whole sequence might, depending on the length of each one, might only be about 15 minutes in total. And supposedly it's one that you need to know about because one of the characters is going to be on Fear the Walking Dead second season. So it'd be an added bonus, and I kind of like the build up in this one. But I would recommend it. It's a minute 20 seconds of your time.
But it's a minute long.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to dissuade anybody from watching it, but again, you will see them. They will be talking about it during the show during the premiere, and they will say, hey, you want to find out more? You're not going to find out more, but it's like a soap opera. You get a little snippet, it ends at a certain point. I'm sure it's going to pick up exactly from where that left off. And actually, the minute and 20 webisode was, I would probably rate that higher than the entire freaking season of Fear, and it was only a minute and 20 seconds, because more crap and more drama happened in the webisode. I think. Well, I don't want to say more stuff, but for that minute and 22, they pack in a lot.
They do. It's a wallop.
Yeah, it is a wallop. Hey, it is. The webisode is awesome. They are awesome. They've been awesome in the past, but don't expect to find out more information because there's no information.
And the only information you're going to learn is that there's that sequence, and I guess it was episode 4, I guess, in Fear the Walking Dead, where the plane is flying all crazily over the air. We're going to find out why that happens because this takes place on a plane. So
yeah, and so we'll find out. But it's 11 o'clock, so we got to get the fuck out of here. So let me say thank you and congratulations to Amy.
Yay!
Thank
Always
you.
awesome talking to you, and Mr. Man in Black there.
Honestly. Mike.
So we're going to do this again. Thank you, Mike. We're going to do this again next month, and Dylan, I'll shoot you an email, and we'll figure out a date. But for now, we're going to say goodnight. So thanks, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you next month on the SNews. Good night.
Yes.
Night.